Welcome back, and in case you just joined us, this is KBC News Check, and on the second hour we are switching gears to look at how we can creating hope for the disadvantaged and the vulnerable in the community. One thing I had said earlier is that one thing I know is that Kenyans have a big heart. You do remember Kenyans for Kenyans, where you could have contributed anything to ensure that the Kenyans who were starving back then had something to put on the table, and over 1 billion shillings was actually realized. But now things are a little bit tight, because looking at the COVID-19 pandemic, all the years we've never had such a pandemic that has brought down even countries' economies, and each and every sector has actually been hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. But the vulnerable still remain the vulnerable. Who are looking at these people? How are they being helped? You know, if you have 10 shillings, how much are you going to give? And you also as well look at your own homestead or your own self. But there are people who are still striving to ensure that these people have something to eat, have something to drink, have somewhere to put their heads, and even can go to school. When I'm joined by one of those persons, his name is Newton Ogada. Karibu sana Newton. At least not your first time here, and at least I've seen you're still doing exactly what you were doing even before the COVID-19 pandemic. Perhaps you can start by saying hello to the viewers and also telling us something about yourself and what you do.
First, thank you once again for accepting me in here. I want to thank the KBC for always giving me chance to speak with our people and kind of like mentoring our people on how we can do things. Again, I must say hi to all my viewers, and may you be ready, because we have a lot to discuss today.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And of course, our sign language interpreter for this hour is Susan Thuku. Remember, we're still live on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, or also on YouTube. So your suggestions, comment, or even where you are watching us from. Perhaps to kick us off, you were here the last time we were here with I think it's sometimes last year.
Last year, right.
And this is exactly what you are doing. You have an orphanage, you do help widows, you have a vocational. Perhaps you can tell us where you are now.
We're still doing the same, because it's not a short-time project. It's a long-time project, I think, until we retire or we die, because we'll keep on having widows and orphans, and a lot of things will still be happening the same. So as we speak now, I'm still doing the same work, but I'm trying to improve it to be a bit wider. Because I'm trying to reach other areas that before I did not reach, and we are trying to improve and implement new projects that we were not having then. So we are still working on the same project.
Yes.
Yeah.
You operate an orphanage in Oyugi's town. What is the current situation of the vulnerable, and especially when it comes to the Nyanza region?
Oh, the number is adding up almost every day.
And especially because of COVID? Because of
COVID, because we lost many people in Nyanza with COVID, and they left their children there, so they are orphans. We left some men, then they left their wives, so they are widows. So the current is not really good, because it keep on adding up. And you know, the economy is collapsing too, so even those who are doing small businesses, who can actually supporting the orphans that they they were left with, the economy is really bad. So it's not good. Yeah.
I remember the last time I saw the photos and videos of some of the work that you've been able to do, and looking at the new videos yesterday, and some photos, I see you've scaled it up. Despite the COVID challenge, you're scaling it up. Kindly tell us about that.
You know, we cannot stop thinking and doing things because of COVID. I think that COVID now, we have to live with it. And we have to make a move. Before COVID, I think we were kind of a bit sleeping, because everything was okay. But being now we have the COVID in the country, I think all over the world, now we start thinking on other projects that we are not doing, so that we can improve the lifestyle of people, and we can teach them many things. Like now we as God will provide, we have an hospital in Ugis, and the hospital is really working hard to support on the prevention or the cure, or the areas that we stop people not to get COVID. We are trying to teach, we are trying to train, we are trying to go to the villages and teach those who are living in the village, and sometimes we even give some health services to the people. So we are trying to enlarge our project. Yeah.
And the last time the project that you had, I remember you are still taking in some orphans. Which is the latest program that you are currently working on?
Even I think a week ago, I took some of the orphans in because I told you it's a process of every day. We cannot stop it. But again, we start other programs like vocational training for those who actually cannot afford to go to universities, or those who have came from university and they have no job. So we are trying to connect, like we want to do full education. I told you last time that I was planning to have a school. We have a school now going on where our orphans are going and other children are coming in. So we are just trying to bring in new projects, new programs at the school so that we can support then a big number. You know, before I was only having an orphanage home, but now we have a school. Those are the new projects that now we are hoping.
And the hospital, of course.
And the hospital, of course. And again, the vocational training center was not there, but now we have it. We are doing tailoring, we are doing carpentry, we are doing welding. We start the beekeeping, and a lot of things are happening.
And actually, if my director Mugo Kariuki can actually, those are some of the projects and some of the work that Newton Ogada and his orphanage and his group of workers have been able to put up. And as you can see, you've really capitalized on making sure that the orphans and the widows are taken care of. As the pictures, as we see exactly what you've done, looking at many orphanages and looking at a lot of homes, they rely on donor funding, others rely on churches, and all those people, everyone including me and you, we've been hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. A lot has changed, but now the needs of these kids, the needs of these women, the needs of these kids who require medical attention has not changed. It's still there. Where are you getting the funding? Has the funding changed? Has the funding gone down? Have you scaled it? How have you been able to scale it up?
I think it's difficult for all organizations. But what helped me out, I've been telling people that you don't need to eat only. You need to know how to find your food. When we began the ministry, I've been having thoughts of doing something that can bring money here locally, not looking for donor funding. Like our organization, we had a lot of challenges due to COVID-19. We lost most of the supporters because they are fighting with it. Some were sick, some lost their job. I was in the state like 2 weeks ago. I stayed there for over 1 month. It was not easy as before. So even them, they are fighting to manage their lifestyle, you know. So before the COVID, I started some few projects that can bring something small to our organization. Like now, as we speak, when my children has gotten sick, like all the orphans, we have an hospital where we can take them. When they need to go to school, we have a school where we can take them. And even this school is not only for the orphans. It's a private school where other parents can bring their children and they pay school fee. The money that they're paying is helping me now to sustain the project. I can pay my teachers, I can buy food, I can do some few things for the orphans who are not paying nothing. You know, at the hospital we have patients who are coming and they are paying. It is not free. So those who are paying, the money that they are paying is supporting the other children or the other widows who cannot support themselves to pay. So that's how I plan my organization, and we are still planning to do a lot of work, a lot of things that can. What I'm trying to do is to sustain our project locally, because what if tomorrow we wake up and we found all donors were locked, they cannot send money, there's some restriction, where will we take all these children? And you know, we will never stop having the orphans, we will never stop having the widows, we will never stop having the vulnerable. So in my organization, I'm trying to bring it up in a way that we can be self-sustained without looking any fund from any other people. Again, I said here last time that if somebody helps you wake up, Don't rely on going back every day. Don't fall every day so that they can wake you up.
Yes.
If somebody hold your hands, I think it should be once. You don't need to be hold hand every day, every morning. What if this person no longer be there? You know, which means the whole project will die. When the project died, where will you take all the children? Just imagine you took them from a family or somewhere, you brought them from in a home where there is food, there's everything, clothes, and then tomorrow there's no more. You know,
yes.
So I'm trying to make my organization to be a self-sustained organization where we can work. Like now I'm organizing to start having a home for the widows. We can find those who cannot support themselves to build. And maybe they don't have a land. So I'm trying to pick them and stay with them in those homes, in the home that we're going to build, and train them on something. So when we release them having something that they're going to do. To give something back. As I had when we had a conversation here about education, the CBC system. You know, the government thought of something better than just being in the class. Something that the child can start working on something. Like if you go to maybe America, because I've been there for long, they don't put children in class all the time, but they give them, they ask a child, what do you want? So if you see your child start making some toys of a vehicle, then this guy maybe can be an engineer or something else, you know. So the CBC will help us in the future to capture the system which has been lost. Because in Kenya now, if you ask that you need degree, I don't know how many people have degree here in Kenya. And most of them are riding motorbikes and they don't have job. Because we have everything, we have all the papers, but there's no creation of job. That's why in my organization, I'm going back to the vocational training, so that even if you have the degree, you can still come back and get trained, and then tomorrow, you will still have a life to live. Yeah.
And looking at Kenyans, as I said earlier, they have a big heart. I've seen struggling Kenyans, helping out perhaps even celebrities who are down, as you put it. And have you seen people chipping in, other than donors and corporates or even churches, individuals chipping in and telling you, Ogada, you're doing a good job. I've pledged that I will do ABCD to help the vulnerable, to help the orphans or the widows? Yes,
I have. I have our good friends, good people. They say, Ogada, we have something small. However, how small it is, this is it. Some people bring their clothes, some people bring some money, some people bring us some maize. I've seen it. And actually, I appreciate that Kenyans have a big heart. The only problem that we have in Kenya that we are not well sustained in a way. We don't get enough. We are still lacking job opportunity because we don't have sections. You know, we have few things that people are using. Like we have only health, education, and maybe some few things. But if Kenya can have industries, I'm telling you, Kenya is a good country, and we have good people that will take care of many people. I'm sure. Yeah.
And after helping out, you've talked about a vocational center that will help the youths acquire skills so that they may be able to help other people. You've talked about you have plans to have a vocational center for widows. Perhaps they can then gain some skills, making soap, making baskets, making fishing nets or something, so that they may put some food on the table to make themselves sufficient. What is the end game after helping out all these people? Somebody might wonder, what is the end game yourself? What are you aiming to achieve after that?
I don't want to achieve anything, but I want everybody to see the grace of God in anything that we're doing. Because we are not here to achieve a lot, but we are here to give and to support. What I want to achieve as Newton, I want during my old age, I want a number of people who have been going through our process or our programs to achieve a way of life. And again, if we hold hands together in this, I'm telling you that the economy of the Republic of Kenya will rise from wherever it is to somewhere else. That is my aim. My aim, because if I employ, for example, if I employ 200 people and I'm paying them, which means their areas, their homes, the economy is not bad because they're getting something.
Yes.
And the surrounding area of wherever they are living, they are buying some stuff from other farmers or anybody, and then the economy is rising up. And again, they are not now starving. Like, we have those who are starving. I have a case like 3 days ago. I think I built that house two days ago. This lady, she's not a widow. Her husband ran away. I don't know where the husband is, and left her with 6 children. Down the line, the house fell apart long time ago. She has been sleeping in somebody's house, and the house that she has been using, the owner died long time ago. So when she came to me, I say, okay, I have to do something about this. We have such kind of people. Okay, I've built a house. What else? If she cannot learn anything, because sometimes there's some problems that can make you not to know anything, then I will go and check for the kids and pick even 2 kids and take to the school, and from there, now I have something that I can count on the family. That's my achievement. Yeah.
And I'm also a Kenyan. Let's be very honest, when it comes to a noble cause like the one that you have, it is sometimes invaded by people who are not genuine. How do you identify genuine cases? You know, you're building houses for people. You have a hospital that also helps people who do not have money. You have an orphanage. You have a vocational center. How do you identify genuine cases?
We have a structure. Before I start anything, I work on the structure. Before I support you in anything, we have a team that will come and witness. They have to come and see if the situation is real. Because we have people that they want to cut corners.
Yes.
They can do something, but they don't do something. They want you to do for them. So what I actually do for the widows, I have an office set up, and I have a guy that is employed there. His work is to go and see if this is a genuine work. And even me, I always drive to the place. I will send my guys to go and build. Don't think I will never step there. I will be there myself and see if at all it is the case. Because we have some people that they want to fight hard for their relatives to get something, but they can afford. So what I actually do, I will send my guys, and after that I will drive there myself and see. And I have to get the picture before and after, because even me, I don't have the money. I have to ask some people to give me the money. How will I ask somebody? How will I convince somebody to give me the money to do a project? I must have a picture to tell, and I have to write a story. So I will never ever want to write a fake story to anybody who is willing to support somebody who is suffering. So I have a structure.
And still on the same, you will find that you use your structure, but find that the number of people who require your help far much outweighs what you're able to place on the table. How do you deal with such cases? They're genuine cases. You cannot pick them because perhaps of your meager resources. How do you help these people?
Even now, as we speak, I think we have built over 800 houses now, as we speak. But the number is more than 1,000. Those who are still waiting. And I want to say God has been so faithful to us that whenever I posted or I asked somebody to help, they actually do it quick because they see the genuine part of it. Because I don't hold the money. Me as Niron, I'm doing my business. I survive from my business. I'm doing my business doing good. It's giving me some money to support my family. So whatever little that I've been receiving from my friends, whoever supporting, has been going straight to the need. So I've been so faithful, and I've been doing things in the manner that anybody who is giving money must have a report. That makes it easy for those people to support me always. And again, you know, God answers prayers in different ways. You can come to me and I might not have money to help you, but somebody else will chip in and help. I have such kind of situations. And again, if I cannot help, it is not me. It's not that I don't have it. So you have to wait. So there's a time of waiting.
And still, you've said that you do not handle the money, and of course, the project has to be audited because as much as there's a lot of funding from outside, as one of the genuine donors, I will want perhaps a clear record, a clear audit, so that I know my money is actually getting down or trickling down to those people who it is supposed to help. How do you ensure that the whole process is transparent?
We have our auditor. We have the auditor, the audit company, which actually audit our accounts, our books of accounts. And again, apart from that, me personally, I work. I think I sleep less than 5 hours, maybe 6. I always do my audit myself, because I will never ever want a situation or a scenario where people have actually give us a lot of money, and then this money are going nowhere. First, my number one is that I confirm myself that I only need a plate of food.
Okay. Allow me to interrupt you on that. Indeed, that is also part of what we are discussing with my guest, Newton Ogada, who is also a philanthropist and has also been able to set up orphanage homes, has been able to set up even a vocational center, of which I believe now is the right time for you to touch on what the CS has been talking about. You've set up a vocational training center. Can you take us through that?
Yeah, personally, I understand a bit of vocational training because I'm a carpenter myself. I can trained. I was trained apostrophe. I can make these couches that you're sitting on, and I can make I can work on woodwork. And then my wife is good on tailoring. So we both came together and started, and that has been our business. We have been making furniture and selling, and that sustained us for all these years. And then now we thought we cannot do it ourselves. We need to start training many people who are just hanging around so that they can do something for their own. They can learn on something. And I'm happy the government is taking care of it. Because once I ask a question, it's a very simple question, that when you go to the president's office, he must have a chair. And who made the chair?
Yes.
You see? So we have some training that they're a must. We have to do them. And I'm proud of it. And in the next 6 months, we'll actually graduate the first lot that are already on the training. And then after that, we'll keep on going.
Exactly is the vocational center?
Exactly, yes. But I'm trying to connect with the government so that I can get a center of doing exams. Yes, we are already in the process. I went to Kisumu and applied. So I'm waiting for the certifications. From there, I will actually do exams in my vocational training center. Is it no Yugis? Yes.
And looking at, without even mentioning names, I've seen some of orphanages and homes have been shut down because, of course, there's no more funding, and of course the COVID-19 pandemic has not eased up on them. But you have been able to stay afloat. How have you been able to do that?
Even them, those who have been affected and closed the homes, sometimes it's difficult. You have to think a lot when you are running, because it is a non-profit organization, and they must eat and take shower and go to school and everything. So I can say God has been on my side so much. I did not lose all my supporters. I lost some, but some are still there with me. They're catching up with me. And again, I set up some things. Like I said, I set up a school called God Will Provide Mission School. I think it's coming to be the best school in Oyugis. And we had many children coming in. We registered a good number, and they're paying school fee. So as I said before, the money that we are receiving from this small project that we started helped me to sustain the project, because I did not want just to rely on funding coming from abroad. I've been thinking, whenever somebody give me something, I need to do something with the money, and this money will actually come back to our ministry, and then we can help out. If I talk about even the health, because most of the widows that we support, their health-wise is not favorable. Some are really sick, some are trying. We have a lot of cases the same. That's why we start the hospital, in a way that when we will be getting the NHIF, because already we applied, we're just waiting for the certification. When we will be getting the NHIF, most of people will come and get treated, and we'll get paid back. When we get paid back, that money will be enough to maintain or sustain our project. So what I can tell to our fellow colleagues that are in the same program, we need to think something better than only receiving.
Yeah, and the CAS, Zakinodia, has talked about how the government is trying to help out, and especially the TVETs, and you've also said that you've seen at least the government has been able to chip in and help TVETs. Let's now talk about how the government has been able to help people like you who are helping others in the society. Have you seen that kind of help? We have cash transfer programs. We have a number of government-sponsored projects geared towards helping the vulnerable. Has that money trickled down back to institutions like yours?
What I want to say, one day I was in my house and I was watching the news. I heard the president saying something, but I think it was a bit political, but it was healthy. That for the past 5 years, he was too much in politics and party issues. And these 5 years has been doing a lot. And I can concur with him that we have seen the strength of him working on various projects. We have never received anything like help coming from the government. Or else sometimes we support the government activities. Like when you treat people, that's the government activity, because the child or the human belong to the government, according to my understanding. You will realize, if I take you back a little bit about the education. We talked about the CBC. It's there. But the government is producing books for the CBC to only government school, and we don't have private child. All the children are government, are our children. In the whole country, I've never seen a private child. We all belong to Kenya. So when we want to discuss and talk about building the economy towards the TVET, let us start it from the ground. Let the Ministry of Education give the books to everybody. For example, now I'm running a private school where I have only the bigger number is the orphans. And now I cannot get the books for the CBC. Because these books are not placed anywhere in the bookshop. They are nowhere. So I have to liaise again with other schools if they have more to give me, which means I cannot have enough. How will this child get to the TVET if he cannot start from the CBC? So even though the government is trying, but we have loopholes. I think the government should work really hard on this issue of corruption. Then from there, this country will be more better than all the countries all over the world.
It's a good thing you mentioned politics in that statement, because looking at the political environment that we are in, and we of course going to witness more as we head towards the 2022 general polls. Have you seen politicians, because they are always on standby, actually they're on cue always to kind of now blend with humans, blend with everyone, and also give institutions like yours money? Have you seen them starting to trickle down, or over the years have you seen that when we are gearing to the elections is when there's more funding, there's more support?
Let me tell you one thing about our politicians. I think they are still working on things to do with 1960s or 1950s, when we were still on the other arena. They are the ruler, the winner takes all. They are trying to blackmail, I don't know how to put it. They're trying to close our eyes with some handouts so that they get into the power. And then from there, 4 years, you will never see them back again. We don't need handouts, because I've been into the ministry for some time. I've been dealing with the humanity. I dealt with the housing. I'm dealing with the health. I'm dealing with education. I'm dealing with the TVET. All these are under my docket as Newton. I'm not working with the government. But we have this money being channeled to the government institution, into the departments which they belong to. But let me tell you, we have never seen anything. We have never seen anything. We are trying to help the government to meet the goals. That is all the private sectors are doing. If we close all the private schools today, will our children fit to the public schools? No. We are trying to help the government to run. But again, those who are in the government through the political gates, they forget about, they want to make sure that we don't have nothing, like people have 0 cent in their pocket. So when they come, they can manipulate. Because if you slept yesterday without food and somebody give you 200 shillings, automatically you will vote this person in, not knowing this 200 shillings is not a help. You know, that's why I agree with the president. We have seen some good work. I can't complain. Like TVET were not there. We have seen some few things happening. But to the political leaders, I'm afraid of them. because I'm telling you, they will sink this country. They are going to sink it, because if, okay, I'm not in politics, I don't want to get involved, I don't want to be elected in any position politically, but if I was one with this NGCDF money, with the connection that you can make when you are in power, then we can build up something into our constituencies, into our counties, whereby our people can earn. For example, I'm from Homa Bay County. We have the lake. God gave us the lake. He didn't give us a lot, but he gave us the lake. If you walk from Kisumu to Mbita, there is no any refrigeration working where you can catch your fish and store and sell at your price, which means we are killing the economy down there. We have the fruits. We have the mango, we have the avocado, we have the pineapple. I've never seen any factory making avocado juice. I've never seen any factory making banana bread or something, but we are all banana. So which means there's a product that we are wasting. We are not gaining anything, but we are wasting them. That's why we cannot take our children to school, because there's no money, but the money we have. So it is just, they don't want to do anything, because if I do good, then everybody will be satisfied, then I will not be elected again. That's the only problem that we have. Like even now, when we talk about 2022 election, they are telling us about the side of the president telling about restructuring the companies that will employ people. Yes, I agree with that. What has been happening for the past 20 years? They still have the same money. If you go to the other side, they are telling us bottom up, something like that. What has happened for the last 20 years? They were still the leaders. So they are just the same monkeys in the, they only change the forest.
Actually, you should be a politician. But perhaps you might one day venture into politics, because having a position in politics, perhaps you may be able to reach a lot of people more than the people that you're currently able to reach.
I can do better here.
You can do better here.
I can do better here.
No political interest whatsoever.
Because when you get into the politics, you will have your supporters, and some will not support you.
Yes.
If you have the heart that I have, how will you support those who are not supporting you to achieve the power?
Good question. Okay. When it comes to giving, Kenyans have that heart of giving. We've seen the last couple of months, Kenyans helping other Kenyans. And of course, when we have tragedies, what can you tell Kenyans in terms of giving and continuing with that heart? Because you'll find a Kenyan with the bread, and you'll actually divide or halve that bread and give you a share.
What I can tell to Kenyans is that their heart is really good. For those who have been reaching out the people, for those who have been supporting the people, their heart is really big, and I really appreciate that. What I can advise, what I can tell, let us continue doing it. We have few years to be in this world. Count on something that you did by the time you are still there, because there's a word says we have three human. One human being is a person who cannot give nothing. He has, but he cannot give. When he dies, after his death, nobody will remember him, but people will remember that he was really mean. We have another person who is having something small, less, but he's sharing with people. After 100 years, some people will still bring a flower to his grave. That's a legacy. And we have another person who has nothing, he's really poor. We'll only remember he was born and died poor. So by the time you are in this position to give, there is a legacy that you are going to leave. Give, and don't only give food. Try to take some children to school. Try to take some children or some people to the technical institute. Try to train them on how they can fish, not only giving them fish. But I'm happy with what they've been doing. I'm happy with the colleagues who have been really working so hard to make a living to somebody. Yeah.
You have done this for several years now.
Yeah.
What are some of the success stories that you can tell Kenyans that you've been able to accomplish?
Oh wow, I thank you for that. We have some students are in the university, because this is my 9th year in the office since I started. So I have not gone that wide, but I have some students at the university, and they are really doing good. I'm happy they will achieve their life whenever God will place them. And I am happy that the widows who have been suffering and dreaming about their house, they are sleeping under a roof, and they're really thankful to God. And I've seen, last year I worked with those who, the cripple. I give them some scratch and some other things. I see them walking, they are smiling. We have achieved a lot. We have seen a lot on grace that God has actually have been giving to us.
You've been able to scale up your operations despite the COVID-19 pandemic, but I'm quite sure there are some of the challenges that you've been able to address. What are some of those, and perhaps what are some of the models that Kenyans can pick from what you've been able to do?
Challenges, I think, is only in the governmental section. Like, for example, people, I've seen the police are fighting with people on mask, and this person has no money to buy mask. He only have money to buy maybe some vegetables, and you're beating this person up. You don't know the challenge that this person is going through. I wish if the government can provide things like mask, things like this washing whatever, to wash their hands, and if the government can actually help on the social distancing, because the reason why we are still having all this is that we cannot have the distance social, we cannot separate ourselves because we are looking for what we are eating tomorrow. So I'm just urging the government that this is their failure. It is good to stand up and say something in the TV station. We will listen to you. We will understand it. But what is the move? I saw, like now we are fighting against the COVID. But the politicians are meeting with millions of people by the roadside. Yeah. And after that, they are going back to their houses. They can afford the Nairobi hospital, but these people cannot afford their meal and they're dying. After the meeting that they do one day, we can have more the number of deaths which cannot be announced because nobody knows them. So I'm just urging everybody, all the sectors. I know we are in a political season, but can we find a way? If you go to America, I was there during election last year. Nobody is meeting with anybody by the street. They go to TV stations, they sell their ideas, and the people will listen to them. They go to the radio station, they sell their ideas. I can listen to your idea, even if you just talk over the radio.
Yes.
So I don't understand why we have to gather millions of people in the roads, and then the same government, some of them are doing politics, are going to the TV and announcing that we want social distancing, we have to close the church, we have to close this market. Why is it that we are closing the church and we are not closing the open campaign where we are meeting with millions of people? And this will bring many orphans. I'm telling you, the people are dying like crazy. I have an hospital, I watch people dying. People are dying with COVID. You cannot do nothing. You tried as a doctor, as a nurse, but it is beyond you.
It's true.
So, but the person who is bringing this to be too much are politicians. If I'm not lying, I'm not against that.
And we're actually hoping that they will tone down the rhetoric, because we are in a COVID pandemic, and because of the interest of time, kindly...
Can I talk about a little bit about that?
Yes, please.
I saw the Minister of Health was talking about no campaign, no gathering.
Yes, but we still...
2-3 days ago, I saw a certain politician in Nairobi with millions of people. So, which means even what the minister is saying, they're not listening to it, but they're just busy doing their campaign. So I'm sorry to say it, but we Kenyans, we need to do something.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually the minister at some point said you don't have to go, you're not being forced to go for that rally, so Kenyans actually need to take that. And actually, because of the interest of time, the laws that govern homes that like the ones that you operate and others, are you telling me that they're airtight enough to ensure that we do not experience cases of abuse of these vulnerable people as we wind up?
Yes, I have to talk in my organization. I am very sure about that. We don't need any abuse of any child. We have to protect them. Like I told you 3 days ago, I had a child who has been abused at home, and she ran. She just came to our school and she talked with us, and I took her in. So I will not urge any institution to have any abuse of the child, but we are requesting for the members of the community not to abuse any child, despite the fact that sometimes they are sick or they have nothing in their home. Don't abuse, because tomorrow there will be people.
Okay, final one, 30 seconds, kindly.
I will appreciate the viewers of viewing our conversation, and I will appreciate you as my best friend.
Thank you.
And I will appreciate the media that we are using now. They have been giving me platform all the time. And my word to the people of Kenya, the COVID is real. and is taking us away every day. Please let's avoid all the gatherings and actually work on the guideline of the Ministry of Health. May God bless you.
Thank you indeed. That has been Newton Ogada, who is a philanthropist, and we were looking at creating hope and, of course, looking at the COVID-19 situation. The vulnerable are the worst affected. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Ben Troy Njue, and Susan Thuku has been our sign language interpreter for the show. Let's continue this conversation on the social media platform.